Good morning, dear students. Today we will discussing about the provisional diagnosis and investigations of the case history part. So, the clinical history enables the patient to communicate symptoms, feelings, and fears and the sequence of events leading to the problem for which the patient seeks professional assistance. Gathering information is essential in establishing a correct diagnosis. It also allows assessment of patient's mental and behavioral status and introduces health concerns other than the presenting complaint, chief complaint. So in the last three classes, we have seen the case history, like again, personal information, chief complaint, history of mental illness, past medical history, dental history, personal history, habits, habit, oral cavity, oral hygiene practices, diet history, general examination, local examination. So today we will be dealing with the provisional diagnosis and investigations, and next week we will see the diagnosis and treatment plan of the case history. So coming to provisional diagnosis, a provisional diagnosis is the one that is initially determined to be diagnosis except for the fact that all results have not been received and or analyzed. It is also called tentative or working diagnosis. It is arrived after evaluating the case history and the clinical examination. So diagnose patient symptoms and other significant disease process leads to sometimes a self-evident conclusion. The diagnosis is usually established by reviewing the patient's history and examination data, listening those items that may suggest the possibility of a significant health problem, grouping items into primary, secondary, acute, chronic, high priority versus low priority, categorizing the disease on the basis of this grouping. So a definite diagnosis cannot be made always, despite possessing full examination history data. In such cases, a descriptive term may be used for the describing the probable health problem termed as provisional diagnosis. The clinician should always keep in mind about the differential diagnosis. The provisional diagnosis indicates to list those items that indicate an abnormality or suggest the possibility of significant health problems. So to compare, we need to do some investigations to correlate your clinical examination. So we need to do some investigations. Investigations normally include a child investigation like pulp vital test, percussion test, cytology, aspiration, and routine complete hemogram. They include a blood examination. So investigation normally you can classify into three. One is radiological investigations, hematological investigations, and histopathological investigations. Coming to radiographical investigations, so dental radiographs, when correlated with the case history and clinical examination, are among the most important diagnostic supplements. So that includes intraoral periapical radiography, bite wing radiography, occlusal radiography, and extraoral that includes OPG, orthopentomogram, lateral cephalogram, PA view of cell, and submento vertex view. So intraoral periography, so it is to confirm the presence or absence of teeth, to establish presence or absence of supernumerary teeth, to assess the extent of calcification and root formation of teeth, to confirm presence and study the extent of periapical pathology and root fractures, to study the alveolar bone and periodontal ligament space, to study the height and contour of alveolar bone crest, to assess the axial inclination of roots, to detect retained root fragments and root stems, and to determine the size and shape of the underrupted teeth. For these the conditions, we will take the intraoral periapical radiography. Next, coming to the orthopentomograph. So, they are usually in assessing the dental development by studying deciduous root resorption and root development of permanent teeth. They can be used to view ankylosed impacted teeth, to study the path of eruption of teeth, to diagnose the presence and extent of pathology and fracture of jaws, to diagnose the presence or absence of multiple supernumerary teeth, to study the status of unerupted teeth, and mainly it is used to detect any bone loss in case of periodontitis. So coming to the bite wing radiographs, so to detect the proximal caries, to study the height and contour of interdental bone, alveolar bone, to detect secondary caries below restorations, to detect overhanging and proximal restorations, to detect periodontal changes, and to detect interproximal calculus. So occlusal radiographs, so to locate impacted or unerupted teeth, to locate supernumerary teeth, to locate foreign bodies in jaws and stones in salivary ducts, to diagnose the presence and extent of fractures. So investigations used for dental caries. So conventional method, we use visual and tactile examination. First we will see the tooth and tactile. Radiographs that as just discussed. Radiographs include IOPR, bite-wing radiographs, and non-conventional method digital radiography, digital subtraction radiography, transillumination, 4T and I40, fluorescence, infrared, laser, fluorescence, that is diagnodent. So percussion, normally percussion, that is tender on percussion. So once the patient is there in the clinical chair, normally we'll ask the patient to open the mouth and we'll take the mouth mirror and we'll percuss the tooth. That is called tender on percussion. So that is two types of percussion are there. One is vertical percussion, one is horizontal percussion. So vertical percussion test that indicates positive indicates periapical pathology. Horizontal percussion test indicates positive indicates periodontium associated problems. If there is a periapical abscess, periapical lesion, something related to dental caries, so vertical percussion test will be positive. And if it is any other periodontal abscess or something related to periodontal issues, so that will be positive indicates periodontium and associated problems. So suppose if any dental trauma is there, so in what are the investigations supposed to do? So pulp vitality test tests the pulp vitality, thermal stimulation, ethyl chloride, ice, dry ice, carbon dioxide, snow, electric pulp testing, test cavity, laser, Doppler, flowmetry, pulse oximetry, and radiographs normally extraoral radiograph as I said, OPG to exclude any fractures, intraoral tests the trauma of individual tooth, and photograph documentation is necessary. So other investigations, any other orthodontic planning, so cephalometric analysis, model analysis, ocular radiographs, OPG, CTN, VISTA scan. So dental caries, so what I was seeing is the radiographs IOPA. So IOPAR, intraoral periapical. You can see the first image where there is eruption of tooth. Permanent tooth is beneath the primary tooth. So you can see whether tooth bud is formed or what the condition of the permanent tooth or condition of the diseased dentition. Suppose if there is caries, so can it go for pulpotomy, pulpectomy, or you have to go for extraction? All this can be assessed with the dental with IOPR. And normal IOPR gives the depth of the dental caries, where how to what extent the caries is progress, whatever. So by doing radiographs as we discussed, so it is seen in the occlusal radiographs where we can see the secondary caries in between the restoration. That is bite-wing radiographs. So radiographic method, bite-wing radiograph to recognize the proximal decay. So interval periapical radiographs to detect external occlusal caries to assess the periapical area. And that these disadvantages are to be radiograph visible, mineral loss should be more than 20 to 30%. So this is occlusal radiography and OPG. So we have seen OPG. So any of this are multiple load births, all these things can be. So OPG at a we can see all that is including the TMG. So any other problem where you can assess, and it is mainly used for the periodontal bone loss, and you can assess the condition of the tooth. So digital imaging. So this is the RVG. So this is the latest one where no need of the film. So radio visualography. So digital OPG, all these things represent this one. VISTA scan. So CBCT, light induced fluorescence. So pulp vitality test. Suppose if any other pulp, whether to know the vitality of the pulp. So cold test and heat test. So this can be used to know whether the pulp is active or inactive. So false negative responses, recent erupted tooth, recent trauma, excessive calcification, patients on pre-medications. So in this can know pulp vitality. So electric pulp testing, so that is done. Laser, Doppler, flowmetry, pulp oximetry. 40 and I40. Diagnodent. So, supplementary analysis. If any of the helps in orthodontic treatment planning, evaluation of treatment results, helps in predicting the growth related changes and changes associated with the surgical treatment. Coming to the hematological investigations, RBC count, hematocrit, hemoglobin level, WBC level, differential leukocyte count, bleeding time, clotting time, and random blood sugar. Histopathological investigations that include biopsy, excisional biopsy, incisional biopsy, intraosseous biopsy, punch biopsy, fluorescein section biopsy, exfoliate cytology, and finally aspiration cytology. So biopsy is the removal of and examination of section of tissue or other material from the living body for the purpose of diagnosis. So indication for biopsy, any usual or lesion that cannot be identified with clinical certainty must be biopsied. Any lesion that has not shown evidence of healing in 2 weeks should be considered malignant until proven otherwise. A persistent thick white hyperkeratotic lesion and any mass that does not break through the surface epithelium should be biopsied. Any tissue surgical removal must be submitted for microscopic examination. Exfoliatocytology. Stratified squamous epithelial cells are constantly growing towards the surface of the mucous membrane where they are not exfoliated. Exfoliate cytology and cells beneath them are scraped off, and when these cells are prepared on a slide, changes in the cells can be detected by staining and studying them microscopically. The malignant cells stain differently from normal cells and take an unusual abnormal forms. So other investigations include xylography, where any of the obstruction salivary duct, salivary gland disorders that can be done to see the flow of the saliva, MRI, and CT scan. So there is one word called different diagnosis. So different diagnosis distinguishing a particular disease or condition from other that present similar clinical features. So different diagnosis can be regarded as implementing aspects of the hypothetico-detective method in the sense that the potential presence of candidate diseases or conditions can be viewed as hypotheses that physicians further determine as being true or false. So different diagnoses of soft tissue masses. So benign reactive swelling, inflammatory swelling, post-traumatic swelling, hamartoma, vascular tumors, myofibroma, and malignant lymphoma, soft tissue sarcoma, rhabdomyosarcoma, Ewing sarcoma, synovial tumors, fibrosarcoma. So different diagnosis is process of listing out of two or more diseases having similar signs and symptoms of which one could be attributed to the patient suffering, and the final diagnosis is only possible after carrying out further investigations. And to conclude, accurate diagnosis of disease depends upon the art of taking case history. So we need to correlate the clinical features with radiography investigations. So then only can come to arrive at a final diagnosis. So final diagnosis is the basis for to form a good treatment plan. So which we'll discuss in the later class. Thank you.